Ignite your life, ignite your mind. Dr. Lotus Riché is powerful, empowering, engaging, and impactful. It's time to ignite and take flight in every area of your life. Welcome to the Lotus Riché Ignite Show. Let's get ignited.
Welcome to the show. I'm your lady, Dr. Lotus Riché, and I am so happy to have you here today as a part of our special edition, Juneteenth, July Jubilee, the dream come true. I am so happy today to have the amazing Dr. Yemaja Jubilee. Many of you know that she is a spiritual influencer. She is an inspirer. She is an encourager, and she helps to enlighten people. And she is the poet with the mostest. And she is going to be here today as we share a wonderful journey that we had most recently, really because of her visionary excellence. She was given a message and a mission from the Most High, and she decided to answer the call. And when she answered the call, she connected so many people from so many places. And today, we're going to have some secret sizzling sauce from her. But wait, she also brought along Mr. George Gaston. Now, Mr. George Gaston is a senior at Longwood University, and he's majoring in communication studies with a concentration in digital media. Yes, digital media. And he's the founder of an organization called the Bagel Shop Productions. And you know what? He's just so passionate about filmmaking. I had the pleasure to meet him in person. He actually drove all the way to Washington, D.C. to meet with me to help get this documentary. That's right. I'm giving you a little secret sauce to get this documentary done. And this, he specializes in live and video production. He specializes in photography, and he is the creator of the Juneteenth, July Jubilee, the Dream Come True. It's a documentary, and I know you can't wait to see it. So without further ado, we're going to present them to you. Now, what I like to do is do some housekeeping. When you come on in and tell a friend and get in where you fit in, because we've always got room around my table for you. Let us know where you're streaming it from and tag a friend and let us know who you have tagged. That's right, who you've tagged. So with no further ado, I'll be right back with you. Stay tuned. Tag a friend. It's time to move on in. Please welcome world-renowned author, speaker, poet, and CEO, Dr. Yemaja Jubilee, the founder of Bagel Shop Productions and the creator of the July Jubilee Juneteenth documentary, Mr. George Gaston. All right. Welcome. Hello.
Hey, Dr. Lotus. Thanks for having me.
It's a great day.
We're so happy to have you here.
It's a great day in the neighborhood. Okay.
Yes, it is. And you're looking spectacular, Dr. Yemaja. You're always looking as the queen that you are. And George Gaston is in the house. I'm so happy to have you both here. So I want to welcome you to the show, and I want to thank all of our viewers from all around the world for being on the show. Please make sure you go ahead, share. Sharing is caring. And we're going to get right into it. So Dr. Yemaja, I'm going to start off with you. Many of our folks around the world have seen you on one or more of my shows in the past. And what we know about you, without a doubt, is that you are a person that you come to help and empower and inspire people. And I took that right from your page because this is what you do all the way from Sax, Virginia. So Doc, tell them a bit more about you, and then we're going to go right to George, and then we're going to move right into why we're here today. Doc, go ahead.
I have a passion and inner desire to inspire, uplift, as it says, other people with the truth, our truth as being our Black heritage and our culture. And I listen to spirit. And when spirit gives me something, I remember what my daddy taught me. I dreamed it, pray on it, sleep on it, then get up and get on it. And that's what I did with this whole project. I got up, put my prayer into God and asked for guidance. And with people like you, Dr. Lotus, on the team, and with George, we were able to bring the dream and the vision that God gave to me. I downloaded that dream as real can be, and we made it happen.
Fantastic. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. So, George, you are up next. Talk to the folks.
Well, Dr. Lotus, thanks again for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Love the production of this show. It's so much fun. So like you said, my name is George. I'm a student at Longwood, and I've really just had a passion and love for visual media my whole life. Started taking photos just as a kid for a long time ago, and that sort of evolved into the love of live theater and the love of film, video production, and so ended up majoring in communication studies in here at Longwood University, and I graduate in December actually. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to having this documentary get released here very soon.
All right. I absolutely love that. And I can't wait for the documentary to come out. And George, I got to tell you, you are such a professional. I absolutely loved meeting you when you came out. So those of you that don't know, you're going to learn today, as Kevin Hart would say. You're going to learn today. So Dr. Yemaja, let's get right into it. You shared with us that you were inspired by the Most High God to create this. And of course, it started out giving honor, as you often do. You always give honor to the ancestors, and I absolutely love it. And you also wanted to give honor to Dr. Opal Lee, who was the young lady, and I call her young. She says anyone under 97, she's 97, right? It's because we were honoring her. She's 97. She said anyone under 97 is a young person, right? So
yes, he says these young people, because you are young people.
Exactly. So with that being said, we had a wonderful journey. So let's talk about the journey.
Well, the journey, I've been doing this now for 16 months because I started it in June 2023 when I got the dream in June 2023. And it's an ongoing process of following through, dreamed it, pray on it, sleep on it, then get up and get on it, and pulling people in from all different walks of life to be a part of the CCC team, connect, communicate, and collaborate, which is named in honor of the 1390 Black Battalion, which my father, Reverend Dr. John Henry Brown, was a member of, that built that lake and the facilities that are around it. It started with that. And I had that dream after I produced and directed the first Juneteenth in June of 2023. There, I went to bed that night and I was walking on the shores of the lake, hugging Dr. Opal Lee.
Wow.
That's how it all got started in June 2023. Like I said, it's been 16 months. But throughout the journey, many people came aboard with many different skills. I call them a kaleidoscope. They are a kaleidoscope, which weave a tapestry of making things happen, like with George Smith and Patricia Tunley and the mayor. And then when I asked Longwood, let's bring Longwood in here, to have someone to work with me because I wanted it recorded. I wanted something special. That was pulling George in. I had worked with Longwood students the year before, but he got pulled in that way. And he never said no. He just came right on in. And that's what we did. So there were many people, 18-member team members from all over the state of Virginia, including you in DC area, that came together. And we must remember Kevin Fabian, who is park director. When I went to him with division, I went to a whole lot of people with division, and a lot of people said no. But the most important thing was we had to have money. And my daddy mentored Kenneth Hodges, who is in the documentary, and he had told me, anything that you want to do because of what you're doing, I got your back. And I'm not going to tell people what Dr. Opal calls, but Kenneth Hodges, H&M Log in South Boston, Virginia, was the pivotal point in us being able to pay for her services. And because we didn't get any grant money, He donated the money for all of that, and through his Jennifer Champion, who worked for him, we had a financial journey. We had a getting to know each other, and we weaved, like I said, a kaleidoscope that we weaved the tapestry of the whole event, and it was off the chain. Great success.
Yes, yes, it was. It was a huge success. And, I thank Dr. Opal Lee. I thank Reverend Brown, first of all, because if it were no Reverend Brown and your mom, there would be no you. And we definitely need you. And we thank Dr. Opal Lee and her granddaughter, of course, because without her granddaughter coming to help support her, it probably would have made things a bit tough. So I thank you for sharing that, because it was a journey. So George, I'm going to go to you. And Dr. Yemaja mentioned you and mentioned your university, Longwood University. How was it for you to hear from Dr. Yemaja Jubilee? Okay, we already know she's got status. She sings. She's a poet. She's an author. She's just world renowned, and she's a recipient of so many different awards. And how was it? Were you awestruck? Were you like, oh, wow? Talk to us. What was going through your mind?
Yeah, so I mean, we can go all the way back to, I think it was November 2023 was when I first made contact with Dr. Jubilee, and we were connected through my professor, Dr. Ryan Stouffer, and I was in a class, or a class was about to start actually in January at the time, but it's my capstone course. It's called Digital Storytelling, and really the only requirement is to make a documentary, and you can make it about whatever topic you like, and you make it your own. There's really no hard grading criteria, no rubric there that's too set in stone. So Dr. Yemaja had gotten in touch with Dr. Stouffer, and Dr. Stouffer had said, hey, you're in digital storytelling next semester. I don't know if you have an idea yet for a documentary, but this is really cool. And he forwarded me the email, and I said, this is really cool. And before I even first started talking with Dr. Yemaja, I could just feel the passion. I looked her up a bit. I did some research, and I was like, oh, this is important. This is huge. So we got to talking, and she kind of introduced me to that kaleidoscope of people, which I think is a perfect way to describe the CCC team. It really is such an amazing kaleidoscope of people.
Yes,
got to talking with them. I sat down with both of you, got you guys filmed on camera, and George Smith and Kevin and a few other people involved in the project. And I think the most interesting thing to me throughout this process was seeing how dynamic this story was. It started out as one thing, and then we took a hard right turn, and then we took a hard left turn, and the road just kept changing. But to me and to an audience, that's what makes it so captivating, is how many turns this took throughout the whole time, and none of them for the bad, all of them, all of them for the good. And it just ended up becoming this beautiful story of the CCC coming together to create such an amazing event at such a historic place during such an important time, I'd say, as well, for something like this to happen.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So we send a special shout out to Longwood College, and of course, Dr. Stouffer, and all the people that supported us from Longwood College by supporting you in your endeavors, because we know it was no easy feat. That is for sure. It's no easy feat. And so we see all of you from around the world. We thank you for coming in. We see you from Kosovo. We see you from Japan. We see you from Africa, and just everywhere under the sun. We see you in Washington, D.C. Thank you, Angie, for joining us today. We know that you're tied up, but we know that you're on board with us too. And we just want to thank everybody. We see you over in Ghana. Thank you for being here today. And all of you that are watching the replay, we thank you as well. So let's get right into, we know about the journey, and we know a lot of times journeys can be arduous, and there can be a lot of left and right turns. But like you said, George, everything came out just as it should be. But out of this journey, there's something else created. There's a documentary, and there is also a book. So let's talk about the documentary, and then we're going to go right and talk about the book. because people want to know how to get this book, because any book that Dr. Yemaja Jubilee is in, you want that book in your library, you want that book in your car, in your church, in your office, because it's powerful. But a little birdie also told me, if you have the opportunity to check out the documentary, you definitely need to do that. So let's talk about the documentary. So George and Dr. Yemaja, let's talk about that. Dr. Yemaja, was it your brainchild where you said, hey, we need to have a documentary about what we're doing?
Yes, it was. It was because I had worked with Longwood students before in doing a documentary about the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like anything that we do, because of our history as and our ancestors and our culture, it needs to be documented, because my father is in that documentary. Reverend Dr. John Henry Brown is in that documentary.
Yep.
And going forward for future generations, there are 5 generations of the Brown family that are in that documentary, so they'll be able to see it. Okay, I got the dream as a result of working there for my father. We honored him at the first Juneteenth.
Yes.
So I wanted, going forward, there's a documentary about it. You know, it needs to be on film. You know how it goes with us. They don't want our history shown. And I say they, which is inclusive of a lot of different people. Not all people are like that, but we needed to document everything that we were doing. We needed to show it. And I want my dad's legacy. In actuality, I'm creating my own legacy by making sure that our history is shown. And Longwood College has been Longwood University has been working with me. They have never said no to anything that I've asked them to do, because they know what we are about as the CCC team, and they know what the goal was. And who else but George could come and do something with it, because he's dedicated to what he does. He was consistent. He traveled everywhere, South Boston, Virginia, then to DC, and then some, like you said, about the twists and the turns that go on in the journey. There were some people that I felt like needed to be. He took suggestions for me about, hey, we need to go back and do da 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 da. Never once said, oh no, that can't be done. But we needed to make sure that it was shown from a broad perspective, the kaleidoscope of elder activists and youth luminaries. Okay, and he captured it all.
Yes. He definitely did. He definitely did. And so we definitely send a thank you to you, George, for your commitment and your love, and definitely a great thank you to the CCC team, because so many people jumped on Dr. Yemaja only because you asked. So with that being said, George, I want you to tell us, how did it feel for you to be a part of this documentary, but also to create it?
Yeah, so to be a part of it was just something so special. And like, as we got further and further along, like I was saying earlier, it just started more and more special to be a part of this amazing group of people. I mean, everyone involved was just so amazing. And as you were saying earlier, like documenting it all, I wish I could have really interviewed and talked to every person involved, but there were so many people involved and so many amazing people too. Like, everyone involved in this was just from their own corner of their own life, and they were just so special and so important from that corner. And in an ideal world, I would have interviewed the entire CCC team, and talk to everyone at the event. But unfortunately, it's not how a documentary can roll like that. But just so honored to be involved, and I thank you both for being so flexible and so accommodating throughout this whole process.
Definitely.
Moving on to the creation part of it, this was my first time making something this long. I don't think it would technically be feature length. Runtime is about 50 minutes right now, 45 to 50 minutes. So not quite at that feature length, but still it's a long project. And I had about 30 or 40 hours of interviews, I think, that I ended up scrubbing through to kind of get to where we are. But it was a really eye-opening experience, both from a storytelling point of view, to kind of tell the story as authentically as I can, because, you know, everyone's going to have a different perspective on this. Everyone I interviewed had a different perspective. So finding that cohesive story that brought all those interviews together was something really special that was quite a fun process to sit down and kind of dissect everything, right? And then from just like a cultural impact, a cultural point of view impact, like something this big and someone as special as Dr. Opal Lee coming to my little town of Farmville, Virginia, like not much goes on here. It's you know, we've got some pretty cool and very important history with the Moton Museum, and we've got you know, it's America's first two college town is what it's called, but it's still a very small town. I think the population of Farmville is under 10,000 the last time I checked, so it's a small place. So to have someone who a president has handed a pen to, and then have the opportunity to sit down with her in a very intimate setting and really get to know her was just amazing. And Dr. Opal just couldn't have been more willing to talk about her life and her experiences. Really an amazing person.
Yeah, she is just a phenomenal lady. And I love when she said, you guys remember when we were at church, right? And so for those of you that don't know, the last day of the event was church, to give praise and worship to the Most High. And I don't think there was an empty seat in the house. There was like standing room, okay? And I remember when she was speaking, she said that if you can teach people how to hate, you can teach them how to love.
Yeah.
That was so powerful. And I especially love it because that's what you were doing, Dr. Yemaja. From the hardships that you face, being turned away from the university because of the color of your skin, being ostracized, even within your own culture, because a lot of people who are melanated, if you're too light, then you're too light to be black, and then you're too dark to be white. You know, it's this paper bag syndrome. And so you had to endure that. Your father had to endure it. And then being able to buy property in what from the north we call certain parts of the south, it was difficult, but you walked through that and you brought people together to say no more. We've got to come together. We can't be like the lake used to be. We're bridging the gaps, and your father was a part of that as well. And so generationally, we had I think a young man, he was 6 years old. 6 years old, Caleb, 6 years old. And then you have a college student. And then you have a 45, a 55, a 56, and a 97-year-old person there. So you were bridging the gaps across the generations. And this documentary, George, thank you for creating it, is also going to tell a great story. So what I'd like all of our viewers to do, I'd like you to take this moment. We're going to have just a quick break. I want you to take this moment to tag someone you know. Why are you tagging someone you know? Simply because we're going to show you something that no one has seen yet. No one has seen this yet. So you're going to be a few of the first to see this, So we're just going to hit the opener, and then we're going to go right to the documentary. Please welcome world-renowned author, speaker, poet, and CEO, Dr. Yemaja Jubilee, the founder of Bagel Shop Productions and the creator of the July Jubilee Juneteenth documentary, Mr. George Gaston. All right. So just in case you're just jumping on right now, we are here on the Lotus Riché Ignite show. I know this is a special edition. This is a special edition with our amazing guest, Dr. Yemaja Jubilee. And of course, none other than the documentary superhero himself, Mr. George Gaston, all the way from his little old town, but his amazing college, Longwood College. So we're going to grace you today and share with you a bit of the documentary created by Bagel Shop Productions. Here goes.
Black history is American history. I don't care how you cut it, how you look at it, whether you try to dismantle, erase, erode it, or whatever you do. Black history is ingrained in the history of America.
In my mind, there is something that says you can do anything if you believe it, walk in it, and trust what is being given to you. This has been given to you to do here.
This is something that is historic for us to do and honor Dr. Opal Lee.
That what's been done here will show others that they can do the same. And so I'm looking forward to being invited next year.
But the main point, the mission and the vision, is what I hear you saying, is to educate, to bring something up from where it was, and to show people what and why we celebrate our freedom, and honor those, honor our culture, honor our history, and just elaborate and elevate.
Wow. 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 And that's just a sample of what you're going to see. Wow. Like I can't even explain how I feel right now. Just like I'm tingly. Wow. Dr. Yemaja, when you see that, what comes to mind?
I am crying right now because it's so moving, and I just know my dad and my mama. My mama's doing her holy shout in heaven with daddy, okay? And the women in my family are just knowing that me as a woman representing my family, my great grandmother was a daughter of the slave master, died at 105. Okay? And the women in my family had to not own their voice. And here I am bringing this, working with that kaleidoscope of people that weave the tapestry of what we're about to see, of what has been done. It just makes me tearful. And I have to tell you, I am so proud that I listened to spirit, okay?
Yes.
That I obeyed, that I, no matter what came, and when I reached out to people like you never said, no, I ain't gonna do. And I reached out to George and the university, and George Smith, who was at the beginning of this, he's a historian. He loved history, and he was our team strategist, okay? He played an integral role because we went to high school together. We grew up in that with the same segregated schools. We went to the same segregated places that we couldn't go under Jim Crow, quote unquote. He was right there with me. So I'm just so amazed. And it makes me just know that I did not do this by myself. Okay. I did it because I was given the vision, and the CCC team members, no matter young, old, you talk about, this is the first time that anything has been done. That's why this is so historical. I get to going on here now because in that area, Sherry Bailey, who is the queen of Juneteenth of Virginia, was telling me how she felt, and the stories in the book about riding through so many Confederate flags and then coming to the lake where we were celebrating. Okay? So I get emotional. I get very emotional. I just have a lot of gratitude and thanks to George and to you and to all the team members for allowing this to be, because we have with Dr. Oprah Lee. We had Dr. Oprah Lee.
Yes.
We had
Yes,
Dr.
we
Oprah Lee.
did.
She was, like George was saying earlier, Farmville, Prince Edward County is known for its racist and segregationist era, all the things
Yes.
that went on, and to have the caliber of her, and then going to Jericho Baptist Church with Reverend Taylor on Sunday, there with having her there, it was phenomenal. And we have created something. We have laid the basis, and we are the role models now for how people can do what you can do to uplift our culture, our ancestors, and just bring who we are.
I love it. So I want to go right over to you, George, because racism is still very alive in this country. And sometimes when you cross the line of racism and say, no, I'm not going to stand for this in my personal life. I'm going to do business with this Asian person. I'm going to do business with this melanated person. I'm going to do business with this German person or Hispanic person. Sometimes, as a person in areas where racism is running rampant, you become a target, you become persona non grata. So, how was it for you while you, one, was attending this, while you were making this documentary, and how is it for you now?
Yeah, I think it's really important to look at physically where I am right now in Prince Edward County. We had mentioned the Moat Museum earlier, and a good friend of mine, Jacob Holloway, actually made a documentary at the same time as me talking about the Moat Museum and the lockouts that occurred after the walkout occurred here at the Moton School. And I mean, Dr. Yemaja firsthand experienced that same level of racism literally 100 feet away at Longwood University back when she applied. And so there's a lot that's happened since then, and Longwood is taking big strides to improve things. Prince Edward County is taking big strides to improve things. And I'm not from here, but I've been living here and going to school here for a while, so I've learned a lot about the pretty terrible history of Prince Edward County. And so I think the creation of this documentary, it's above me, right? Like I was just the person who was there filming. I was just the person here who edited, but it's a bigger symbol of how far both Prince Edward County and Longwood University and even the country have come. And really at no point during the creation of this, they're really thinking about the aspect of race, because I interviewed George Smith very early in this process, and he was the first gentleman who appeared in the trailer there. And his line about Black history being American history has just been lodged in my brain ever since. And, I've watched that trailer so many times through editing and stuff, so I've heard it a lot. And just having that perspective really solidified that, like, we're just telling the story of American history here. There's nothing racial really about it. It's just American history, and it's just as important as any other American history story that should be told.
And you are 100% right. Every story has value, every story. And so, with that, we not only have done a documentary, we also have done a book.
Yes.
And I want to talk about the book. I want to know what inspired you to do this book.
Well, I keep talking about the kaleidoscope. And I knew everybody had a different perspective. And I knew each person gleaned something special from it. They gleaned something special. And that story needed to be told. It needed to be told from that. I started out writing another book that had the stories within it. But as I looked at it, and then I was awakened at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning by spirit. And it said, this needs to be a separate book, Yemaja. And I obeyed again what the spirit was giving me. Let the book be all stories about what each one of their experiences were, like George Smith story. And then the visionary team had a prayer that's in the story. And you have a story as well, Dr. Lotus. And then
yes, that's correct.
Bonnie Black wrote a story about me, how me became we. Okay, all right. And then other people wrote about what they learned about collaboration. And other people wrote stories about, like Donna Shannon did the closing circle. It was important that I not combine all of the other things around my family history in this book of stories. So that's how that came to be. And it's many stories about personal experience. It's a personalized walk through each person's journey about how they experience and what they glean from it, what they learn from it, and what they're going to take and use from it as well. That's why that book had to be written. And the dream came true. That's what the name of the book is. The dream, stories from the CCC team. The dream came true. And in it, you know what, when we started off, I dedicated to my father. As always, everything is dedicated to my father. But also, too, what I want to mention is here. When you think about what's being done in the state of Virginia around, quote unquote, American history now, there are a lot of other people that are doing a lot of things, like Calvin Pearson, who just passed with Project 1619. He just passed. So as a result of us doing this, I've got these calls coming now from people like that are on that Project 1619 because of what we did. And after they read the book, when we do the celebration on October the 26th at Longwood University, Saturday afternoon from 2 to 4, the mayor of Richmond will be there. Steve, who is the president of the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, who took over for Doc Myers, who founded the national organization, he will be there. All right. And then Cameron Patterson, who's over student affairs at Longwood, will be there. They will review that as well as get a chance to see the book. I'm going back to the book, right? Because also from the book, you know, we're going to send Dr. Opal a copy of it because she did the afterword in it and the mayor did the forward. So this is just a story told from each individual, whether it was a sound person, it wasn't my take, it was their take. And that's why it's such a personal thing that people can read through and they can know what each person went through and what they gleaned from this whole process. And that's a history-making piece within itself, okay? And the art for the book is done by my friend Barbara Alvin Fudge. He did the art for the book. And I woke up again. I have to tell the story. I woke up again one morning with what need to go, how it art need to be. And I'm not an artist, but I do get the creative concepts of things. I took my crayons out and I drew the C's and put the colors in it, the hearts, and said, hey, this is going to represent the CCC team with the waves of the lake on the C's. I gave it to him. He's very spiritual. He did a great job with the art. And that within itself, combined with the stories, you will see. And it's all done with love. We, with this book and the film, it's taken us to a national level and possibly an international level because we have made history in this area. We've taken it to another level and quote unquote, as a part of American history. I like using that. And we will get to show who we are and where we have come from in the racist area in the state of Virginia. I mean, that's the way it is. And after having done all of this, I'm just glad to be a part of this. I'm glad I listened. I'm glad I listened with my heart. And I'm glad I didn't listen with my head to all them people that telling me that this couldn't be done. All right. And again, Kenneth Hodges with the money because he believed in this project and in me. And the other thing that I have to say, because we didn't get any grant money. And some people said, oh, you all not going to be able to do this. And I didn't cuss them out. Okay. I am human and they do trigger things in me. But I was believing because God was sowing the seeds, and when you read the book, you're going to see that as well. I can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Dr. Lotus.
Can't hear you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I have to mute myself sometimes because I'll be like, yes, yes. So we see you, Angel Monticelli. We see you. Thank you for being here. Dr. Florence, she's coming in from Burundi, South Africa. Thank you so much. Angel, let us know where you're coming in from. So we got people from the Philippines, from Ghana, from Burundi, just all over the world. So we're happy to have you here. So when you come in, let us know where you're coming in from. And so with no further ado, we want to be able to show you the cover to the book. We're going to take a quick break and hold on tight with all your mites, because when we come back, we're going to show you the book cover, and it is dynamite. We'll be right back.
Like sun to the day, we are light and we shine forevermore. The Black History Song. Stream now on your major music platform.
Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. So earlier, Dr. Yemaja spoke about the theme and the song. And so if you haven't seen that or heard that song anywhere else besides here, because we've been playing it, I want you to go ahead and grab that song. Okay. And so with no further ado, we have the opportunity to share the book cover with you. So take a look at this. The dream came true. Connect, communicate, and collaborate. And that is what we've done. All of us, Dr. Yemaja, the CCC team, the people that did the art, just everyone came together to make this a reality. And we want to share this book with you. We say, go out and get this book, get this book, get this book, get this book. But also, don't forget that the documentary is coming out, and we want you to be a part of the documentary. We want you to see it as well. So, Dr. Yemaja, I want you to talk about when the book is coming out, how people can get it, and then we're going to go right to George as we begin to wrap the show, because we want to know how people can see the documentary coming up real soon. I'll let George tell them the date. Dr. Yemaja, how can they get the book?
Well, the book will not be available. It will be available on Amazon after the 26th, October the 26th. They can go to Amazon and type in my name. If they don't know, remember what the title is, The Dream Came True, and they can get the book then. And we're going to be donating part of the funds to the National Juneteenth Museum that Dr. Oprah Lee is opening up in 2026. You know what I'm saying? We have made a commitment to that. And I want to encourage people to know that when they go through this book, that's why we got hearts on it. Read from your heart, not your head. Okay? And acknowledge that this has been a very spiritual process. It ain't something, it's not about my daddy always told me to be mindful of things that come from your head. Okay? Because he always felt like you do that, you're doing it for your ego to be inflated. This is not about ego inflation. It is about making a difference from your heart. And that's how you connect. You connect first to your heart, then you communicate from your heart, and then you collaborate with this kaleidoscope of people that created this wonderful tapestry in the event itself, in the documentary, and now with the book. And it will be available October 26th.
Okay, fantastic. And when it comes available, we will definitely, folks, we will definitely give you a reminder so that you can go out and get this amazing book, because we want you to help be a part of history. Because
and one other thing, Lotus, that I want to add, excuse me, I feel like I need to add in this. I have never in my life created a book. I started working on this book in July. All right. In July. And what is August, September, October? I've never put anything together, but that was God. I wake up in the morning and put the stories in, get some help from over here and get some help from over there. And it has been spirit guided all the way through this whole journey, through the book, the documentary, and everything. It's been a spiritual journey for me and transformative. And my daughter keeps telling me, well, Ma, anything else like this, she says, is one and done because you put everything into this.
Yes. So I got to tell you, hey, Jesse, it's great to see you here. We're so happy to have you here today. You're always sharing and caring. And so thank you. We've got Charlotte in the house. Of course, the show host of the Kim Jacobs Show is on, checking us out. So thank you so much, Kim. And thank you for everyone that's joining us. And so we want to go ahead and share this book. Okay, we're going to share it right there. You see that? We want you to take a moment because it's coming your way really soon. And we want to make sure that you know that there's something special. This book was done from a place of love. And so with no further ado, I'm going to go right back to you, George. Talk to us about the documentary. When can people get the documentary? We know that people can get the book, and that's going to be October 27th, correct? On the book?
Yep, correct. Oh, on the book, sorry.
October 26th.
26. So the 26th is for the book. And then on the documentary that's coming out, tell us about that.
Yeah, so Dr. Yemaja had mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing a premiere at Longwood University on the 26th. And then the documentary will be available for the general public to watch the following day on the 27th. And
Awesome.
You can actually go to my website right now, www.bagelshop.productions. Bagelshop.productions. You see there on the screen. And there's a link to subscribe to the YouTube channel, so you'll get a notification when the documentary does come out.
Yes. So make sure you get there and you go there. So we would like to take these last few minutes to have any questions from our audience, because we see so many of you from all over the place. And we know that some of our plight here in the United States is not your plight, but we also know that some of our plight is your plight. So if you have any questions, go ahead and let's take a moment and, share any questions that you have. We're going to take your questions, say like right now. We're going to have a quick couple of 30 seconds. Let's take about 30 seconds and let's go ahead and share your thoughts. Tag, you're it. All right, and we are back. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. Send it over to us. We see Kansas is definitely in the house. Thank you for being here. Kansas. We're happy to have you here. And so with no further ado, I want to go right to one of the comments. This comment is coming in from Ghana, Nigeria, Africa. To get a true meaning, you have to read from your heart and not your head. I absolutely love that. Dr. Yemaja, you talked about that. And so, George, why is this important for people to read from their heart and not their head?
Yeah, it's a great quote. I love that. I think I'll tackle this from kind of my point of view of creating this documentary. Is it's very easy to edit something this long and not keep it authentic and not tell a true story of what happened. So throughout this process, I've had to go back and go back through what I've edited and just make sure that I am being authentic to the story and doing it justice, because the scope is huge and there's so many different perspectives. So I really have to turn off that very technical side in my brain and really listen to what my heart says about the story and to make sure to include everyone's perspective.
Yep, that's awesome. That's awesome. So that's great. So with no further ado, we're going to have some final words of wisdom for the show. And we want to thank all of you from all around the world for sharing your time, sharing your love, and just being in the house, because being in the house, being in the room means so much. So to our friends over in Kosovo, to our friends over in the Philippines, to our friends over in Kansas, here in the United States, anywhere you are, North Carolina, we saw Charlotte in the house, to our friends at the Longwood University, to our friends all around the world. And if I didn't call you, please just take it for love. Charge it to my head and not my heart. So with no further ado, I'm going to defer right back to you for our final words of wisdom of the show. Dr. Yemaja, it's time for you. It's your go. Go ahead.
Oh, this has been amazing. And as I go through my life with my journey, life gets more amazing every day. And I know that I am being of service when I bring things forth with the help of many people. And I would like for people to remember it's better to connect, communicate, and collaborate by using your love and to make things happen. And when people don't agree with you, allow them to be where they are. And you don't have to cuss them out. I learned that through all of this, okay? You can let them be who they are. You can let them bring who they are, but you don't have to go there with them. You can come together and you can do something magnificent, something you can up level all that you do in your life when you listen to spirit. Ashe, ashe, and so it is.
I love that. Connect, communicate, and collaborate. And now we're going to celebrate, because we're going to celebrate with you in the documentary. Let's talk to us. Tell us your final words of wisdom, George.
Well, I just want to say thank you to you both for first for having me on the show, and also for being so wonderful to work with for the last 8 months. Has it been? Wow, it moves fast. I think that, telling a story of this magnitude is not an easy task. And so I thank you both for trusting me with this story, and trusting me to, show some pretty vulnerable moments. There were some tough times there, and I hope you all go check out the documentary and get to experience this story for what it is, even for anyone who didn't know about the event or, couldn't travel to the event. I did my best to show you even more than what you would have seen if you had been able to make it to the event. And then I also think that people who did make it will take a lot away from it as well, by seeing some behind the scenes, by getting a little bit more wisdom from Dr. Opal Lee as well. She's such a wonderful person, and she took this project to a whole different level. So I thank her as well, and I will also be show you this as well. When Dr. Yemaja is selling her book at the premiere, I have these posters that I'm also going to be selling. There we go. And similar to Dr. Yemaja, I'm going to be donating part of the proceeds to the National Juneteenth Museum as well. So if you have the ability to come to the premiere, I hope you do. And if not, then I will hope to see you on the YouTube channel on October 27th to experience this.
Awesome. Fantastic. So with no further ado, I want to thank both of you for being here with me today. I want to thank each and every one of you from all over the world that's come to this show today, the Lotus Riché Ignite Show special edition, Juneteenth, July Jubilee, the dream come true, because you're a part of helping us make history too. So we want to leave you with a little special, because some of you may have just been joining us and you didn't get to see the trailer. So we're going to show that before we close. Here goes.
Black history is American history. I don't care how you cut it, how you look at it, whether you try to dismantle, erase, erode it, or whatever you do. Black history is ingrained in the history of America.
In my mind, there is something that says you can do anything if you believe it, walk in it, and trust what is being given to you. This has been given to you to do here.
This is something that is historic for us to do and honor Dr. Jubilee.
That what's been done here will show others that they can do the same. And so I'm looking forward to being invited next year.
But the main point, the mission and the vision, is what I hear you saying, is to educate, to bring something up from where it was, and to show people what and why we celebrate our freedom, and honor those, honor our culture, honor our history, and just elaborate and elevate.
Oh. So, with no further ado, we thank each and every one of you, and we look forward to talking to you real soon and seeing you at the debut of this amazing documentary. You've seen it first right here on the Lotus Riché Ignite Show. We thank you. Be blessed. Don't stress. Always do your best, and don't take no mess as you ignite and take flight in every area of your life. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching the show, and follow us on YouTube. Ring that bell so you don't miss a thing.
See you on the next episode of the Lotus Riché Ignite Show, where we're helping you to ignite and take flight in every area of your life.
If you want to be a guest on the show, please connect with us at lotus@lotusricheignitesyou.com. Ignite your mind and ignite your life.